Hello, this video is going to be a little introduction on how to create your own Moodle quiz. The first step you need to do, once you have logged in to your Moodle course, I'm using the Faculty Resources course as a sample. It says teacher stuff up here, but it's the Faculty Resources course. Before you can create a quiz, you have to create questions that are going to be in the quiz. So if we look over here under Activities and we click on Quizzes, what you'll notice over here towards the right is a button called Edit Questions. Go ahead and click on that. And then the next thing you want to do before you create questions is you want to create categories so that you can keep your questions organized. So we want to click on the Categories tab. Now down here it says Parent. This has to do with the way the categories are organized. I recommend changing that to top. And then thinking of a name for your category. For example, I organize mine by what chapter they come from. You must name the category. You can add category info if you want, but it's not required. Then you would click right here on Add Categories. And then when you're ready, now that you have at least one category in there, you are ready to start entering some questions, adding questions. Now I clicked on the Questions tab up here to get to this part. You'll notice the category is Chapter 1, so that's what we're going to be adding questions to right now. We can ignore these things for right now. Create new question. Just to keep it simple, we're going to start with multiple choice. We'll do other tutorials later that talk about other types of questions. Select multiple choice. And then we need to name the question. Now the name of the question is not something that the students will ever see. It's something to help you when you're selecting questions to add to a quiz. It's a way to keep it organized. For myself, I usually choose whatever the answer to the question will be as my question name. And then in this box is where you will type question text. So let's think of a good question. Who is the head of the executive branch? Okay. Image to display none. Default question grade is 1. Penalty factor, we'll talk more about what you can do with penalty factor in another video. And then here where it says choice 1, you want to type in one of the possible answers. Remember, this is a multiple choice question. We're leaving it here. A, B, C is going to be the way the answers are labeled. And in here we would say, for example, the question was, who is the head of the executive branch? One answer would be president, and that would be the correct answer. So in grade, we want to change this to 100%. So if the student selects president, they get 100% of the points. Feedback is optional. We'll talk about feedback another time. Choice 2, you might want to have, this would be where you'd put an incorrect answer, for example. So you might put, sorry about my spelling, Chief Justice, and you might have another incorrect answer, Speaker of the House, and then maybe another incorrect answer, Vice President. Now if you wanted 5 answer choices, you could do that. If you wanted even more, you could click this button and you'd get even more answer choices. Then down here there's more feedback boxes, and then you would click Save Changes. Okay, and then you can see now, right here with this green bar is our question. And remember, the question name is President, so that I'll know that's what the question is about when I select it. Now in order to add this question to a quiz, you need to actually create the quiz first. So what we want to do is we want to go back to the main page for this Teacher Resources Moodle. So we can click here where it says Teacher Stuff, and that will bring us back to the main page. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom. I've created a little area for Moodle tutorials right here. And a quiz is considered an activity, so we want to add an activity, and then we want to select Quiz. Then we want to name our quiz, Chapter 1 Quiz. An introduction if you want to give it to the students. It's not mandatory. There's a lot of options here that we're not going to worry about right now. One of the things that we want to do is right here it says attempts allowed. You probably, depending on if you're using the quiz as an assessment, you would want to change this to probably 1. If you're using it as a learning tool, you could leave it at unlimited or a certain number. Adaptive mode is an interesting feature, and what it does is it allows students to submit the answer more than one time. Just sort of by default, I would change it to no. Later we can talk about why you might want to have adaptive mode as yes, and some of the neat things that you can do with that. Grading method, you know, if we're only doing one attempt, it doesn't matter, but you know, highest grade would be if they were able to take it multiple times. Let's make it first attempt. I'm not sure that that matters. Apply penalties, we're not going to worry about right now. Decimal digits and grades, we're not going to worry about. All these things we're not going to worry about. However, I do like to change browser security to full pop-up screen with some Java security. It doesn't make it impossible for students to search the internet for answers while they're doing this, but it does make it more challenging. Don't worry about groups, don't worry about feedback. And then you can click Save and Return to Course or Save and Display. I'm going to click Save and Display. Now you can see over here, we've already seen this question bank box. Over on this side it says questions in this quiz. We're still working on Chapter 1 quiz, which you can see here. That's how you know we're working on Chapter 1 quiz. The tab that we're on is Edit. Edit has been selected. Now we want to add questions to this quiz. We only have right now one question, and there's 2 ways to add it. One is by clicking on these arrow buttons here, Add to Quiz. You can see that pops up. The other way is to click this box and then click the button down here, Add to Quiz. If we just push these buttons, you'll see. Now we see our question over here for questions in this quiz. Say we want to add more questions. Or you wanted to add questions from another category. I've already added, you know, here it says Chapter 18 and then the number 10 in parentheses. That tells us that there are 10 questions in that category. I'll let that load. And you can see here are some questions that I added earlier. One thing you can do is select all, and then I'm going to push the Add to Quiz button. Now you can see over here there are 11 questions in my quiz. This maximum grade box lets you choose how many points it is out of. For example, if I leave 11 questions in the quiz, it will convert that number into, based on the percentage, what it would be out of 10. You could change it to 11. You could make it any number you want. But what happens is once they've taken it, their grade will be out of this many points. If you change the total to 22 points, then every question would essentially be worth 2 points. If you want to see what your quiz looks like, you can come up here to the Preview tab, click on that, and this, you see here in red it says students will see this quiz in a secure window. They're not showing you the secure window right now, but students will see it that way. And then you can see how this works. For example, who is the head of the executive branch? The correct answer is the president. Then you can select some other ones. I'm just going to click at random, a couple more, and then we will submit all and finish. You're about to close this attempt, blah, blah, blah. Click OK. And then the students can now see how they did. Oh, I got that one correct. I got that one incorrect. Correct. Remember, I just selected these at random. And then down here, you can see how you did on all of the questions. Up here, they got 3 out of 11. Which converts to 2.73 out of 10, or 27%. So the students can see right away how they did on the quiz. If you know you've created a quiz, if you know you've created a quiz and you want to add more questions to it, you can always click on Quizzes, and then you can click on the quiz you want to edit, or you can click on Edit Questions. If I know I want to edit this quiz, this button is going to show up. Don't worry about this. It wants and then you can click on Edit once you're in this box. And from here you can do change the questions in the quiz, or you can go back and create new questions. Maybe we want to add another multiple choice question. Okay, and that's it. Please feel free to give me feedback on other questions or anything that wasn't clear in this video so that I can do a better job next time. Thanks.